Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome to Vernon Vibes. As always, it's great to be with you. But this evening's show starts on a sad note. With a heavy heart, I need to be telling Vernon and our residents about the loss of someone very special, someone who is a member of our family for over 50 years, Warren Burgess, the gentleman who, in fact, along with his wife Susan, passed away this past weekend. And for those of you who have gone past the town hall or other municipal facilities, you will notice that our flags are flying at half-mast in recognition of Warren's passing. Warren was a very special human being in many, many ways. And while I've heard many people refer to him as, oh yeah, that guy that really loves animals, I would offer that in addition to that, Warren also loved people. Over the years, Warren and I worked together during my first term on the Vernon Town Committee. And of course, most recently, Warren was still a constable for Vernon Township, having served us, as I mentioned, for over 50 years. I want to extend my condolences to his family and let them know that we all will miss Warren. We were fortunate to have him amongst us. And to those of you who are interested, his viewing services will be from 4 to 6 and 7 to 9 on Thursday, the 16th, at Perda Funeral Home in Pine Island, and he will be buried from there the following morning at 10 a.m. Again, my condolences to Warren's family, and on behalf of Vernon Township, we want them to know that our thoughts and prayers are with him, and may my good friend rest in peace. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Welcome back. As in the past, we do record this program on the morning after a town council meeting, and we are doing so. The meeting of January 13th was indeed a lively meeting, and it was one that I'm sure by the time many of you see this program, you will have read something about it in the newspaper. Let me start by saying that I offered, by way of invitation, an opportunity for the blogger who writes for the New Jersey Herald to come here today and to ask me any questions that he had or his newspaper had concerning the issue of my salary, the mayor's salary, or any other issue that he wanted to talk about, and answer those questions here before the camera. Unfortunately, as you can see, he's not here. He indicated that he had some kind of other engagement, and so maybe we'll have the opportunity to do it in the future. But I thought that it would be a good idea to have him ask his questions and have you hear my answers directly. Therefore, I wouldn't have to be concerned as to whether or not the reporting was being fair and balanced. Hopefully, Mr. Jennings will take me up on my invitation in the future, and we'll provide a lively presentation of ideas for you all to consider. Obviously, the major focus of last night's meeting was the issue, again, of the mayor's salary. And without going into great detail about it, I think that the points have been made on all sides. It's quite clear that there are people who think that this mayor should not be paid that, or any mayor should not be paid that amount of money. And I'm not going to speak to whether or not I've done the job or not done the job. You all know whether I have or not. You people that live in Vernon Township see it, touch it, feel it, hear it, smell it every single day in the services that are being provided to you by your town local government while your taxes have been reduced for local purposes. However, I do want to talk about what I think is an important issue. Several people who spoke last evening at the town council meeting pointed out that as this township government goes forward in this form of government, which is unlike any form of government in Sussex County, unlike any form of government in Sussex County. When I think back to my days as a committeeman and mayor back in 1986, it was just that. It was a town committee in which each committee member usually had a liaison with one of the departments of the government, and therefore was the contact and would help to bring information back to the township committee and at the same time communicate with the business administrator at that time. And that form of government doesn't exist anymore. That mayor, who was really no more or no less important than the other four members of the town committee, other than the fact that that person was the chairman of the meeting and ran the meetings, it's very different now. I am not a member of the Vernon Town Council. The town council in this form of government is the legislative branch of our local government. Their responsibilities, as spelled out both in state statute and in the town administrative code, is to deal with the legislative items and in fact to deal with the resolutions that in fact keep this government rolling, i.e. contracts and other things that come before them. And I've reported on them many, many times in the past. Through the last several days, I've had people asking me, we don't understand, are you part-time, are you full-time, The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, the mayor in Vernon Township, whether it's Vic Morato or whoever it is the chief executive officer. What that means is if you were to open the statute books and you were to read the description of the responsibilities of a town manager or a town business administrator or a mayor in the strong form of mayor council, which is what we have right now, the words are virtually the same. The responsibilities that fall to this office are the responsibilities that people with town manager after their name and town administrator after their name get paid considerably more money, well in excess of $100,000 a year, which is nowhere near what I'm requesting. I'll be back in a minute to finish up on this topic.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Welcome back. As I was indicating in the last segment, the topic of an ordinance, this time which deals solely with the salary for a full-time mayor in Vernon Township, was approved last evening by a 3-2 vote in the town council. Voting in favor, of course, were Mr. Wetzel, Mr. Rizzuto, Mr. Lynch. Voting in opposition were Mr. Kadish and the new councilwoman, Mrs. Murphy. It looks from the first few weeks of our government that there'll be lots of 3-2 votes this year. I sure hope that that doesn't happen, but if it does, it does. Because in democracy, everyone's point of view should be heard, and I embrace that. However, I don't embrace anarchy, and I don't embrace turning our council meetings into argumentative type slugfest and returning to the kinds of business that we all came to eschew and we all came to find distasteful, and we all voted to do away with in 2010 when we in fact selected a new form of government. That being the case, I'm not in control of that. How the council conducts its business is in fact their business. But I do believe that we have a strong core of individuals who consider, prepare, and in fact vote based upon what is best for this community, as they did last evening. So I'd like to get into some of the things that were dealt with last night, as I often do. There was a resolution that was approved last evening for a maintenance agreement with the Temperature Control System Corporation. And I bring that out because in the first year of this administration, the council undertook, at my behest, a complete revamping of the HVAC system, the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system of this building that had been non-functional for over 8 years. How Vernon Township avoided a lawsuit from its employees for a hostile working situation is beyond me, because when we came here, before the air conditioning was fixed in the summer of 2011, the ambient temperature in this building was in excess of 90 degrees. And I'm told that in the wintertime, without electric heaters placed at the feet of all of our employees in desks and the like, including downstairs in the police department and the senior center, people were just freezing. Now, what has happened is that system has been completely repaired. That system has been brought up to specifications and is now monitored by computer, so that in fact we do not run huge utility bills for electric and or natural gas. The contract that was approved last evening is with the company that installed this system, brought it up to specification, and they now, for $3,600 a year, will see to it that it's serviced and operational. By the way, it was over $200,000 to fix the HVAC here in Town Hall, something that had been ignored, as I said, for over 8 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that's through 4 town councils or administrations. 4 managers and 4 town councils did nothing about it. It's been handled. In addition, the council authorized a fireworks permit for the Mountain Creek for their Special Olympics opening. And in fact, the other things that they took under consideration, I think, are very important. Resolution 1428 approved the purchase of 6 thermal imaging cameras for the Vernon Township Fire Companies. And to be candid with you, at first I didn't really know what that was about when the fire marshal came to us, but the thermal imaging cameras are an apparatus that allow our firemen, in the face of a structure fire, a house fire or whatever, to in fact see inside and locate if in fact there are people or other things that they need to be concerned about, the potential for an exploding gas tank or whatever. They're able to do that without being exposed to danger themselves. These thermal imaging cameras are being funded with the balance of the FEMA grant that was won by Vernon Township in 2013. And when I come back, I'm going to share with you where that all stands also.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Welcome back. In the last segment, we were talking about the FEMA grant that Vernon Township received in 2013. And that grant, as you will recall, was primarily for the installation, upgrading of the communications system here in Vernon Township for emergency services. That project, as I talk to you today, is 90% complete. And by February 1st, we will have implemented an entirely new wireless communication system in Vernon Township at an ultra-high frequency, which puts us actually 5 years ahead of the federal requirement that we've all been made aware will go into effect. But more importantly than being out in front of the federal regulations is improving communication amongst our ambulance, fire, and police, our emergency services. This new system will be a dramatic upgrade and will improve the ability for communication in the event of an emergency or a disaster, and we as citizens will benefit from that improved, increased communication. However, we did the project by bidding it actually for less than we anticipated. And so rather than just simply turn the money back to the federal government, we reapplied for permission to, in fact, buy the thermal imaging cameras that we were talking about. They were about $9,000 a piece. They're not inexpensive equipment. And in addition, we gained approval from FEMA to purchase replacement search and rescue vehicles for the Highland Lakes Water Rescue Team. And so through good planning and also hard work by our fire marshal, in addition to being able to upgrade our communication system from that federal grant, we have also improved the safety and the apparatus of our fire companies as they serve our citizens in rescue situations and dangerous fire situations. So I'm happy to report to you that the council approved those resolutions unanimously, and that equipment will be made available shortly to our fire companies. And I think once again we will have upgraded the equipment that they have to work with, which has been part of the agenda of this government from the day that we walked into office. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
A few of the things that I'd like to discuss with you. You may recall that in the early part of 2013, at my behest, the town council in Vernon joined the Nork Watershed Coalition, which was a coalition of 10 communities who are affected by the presence of Nork Watershed properties in their township. And you will, I think, recall that at that time, we did that because we believe that the tax assessment laws and the tax assessment method used for determining the property tax that needed to be paid by those entities was in fact unfair. I'm happy to report to you that through the efforts of our coalition, in the very near future, there will be a bill introduced in the New Jersey State Assembly that will in fact seek to level the playing field and to allow municipalities who are the stewards of water sources for our neighbors to the south and east of us to in fact be paying a fair share of the cost of protecting those lands and keeping them open, and in fact seeing to it that there is a safe, potable source of water for the masses of the people that live east and south of us in the high density areas. I know that everyone in Vernon Township understands the need to do it, but we also believe that we should not have to be the bearer of the cost of that when we know, for example, that the city of Newark and other entities make a profit selling the water they get from us for free. And so that was under consideration when this coalition was created. And I certainly I'm not ready to run the flag up that the problem is solved, but moving a bill in the legislature after 1 year of effort speaks to what happens when communities come together. When the 10 communities that are part of this coalition lent their voice to, in fact, the need for some adjustment, obviously some legislators listened. I'll be keeping you posted, but we are making progress. And our $6,000 investment, I believe, will come back in time with a greater return and a fairer return to the people of Vernon and the other 9 communities that are part of this coalition. So stay tuned. We'll be talking more about it as we go through 2014, and I'm excited about that. Additionally, I reported to you of a meeting that was held between Vernon Township, myself, and our tax assessor with the Sussex County Tax Board, and that the question of whether or not the tax board was going to direct Vernon Township to implement another reval of property in the town. That is not going to happen for the foreseeable future, and that doesn't mean that it'll never happen. It simply means that because of steps that were taken by this administration and your government, steps committing ourselves to, in fact, creating and having functional within the next 2 years digital tax maps, the county tax board felt clearly that we would have a much, much more accurate and reliable figure on the assessed value. And I'm here to report to you, excuse me, that the initial phase of that program has in fact begun. The flyovers for photographs of Vernon Township have begun. This is the time of the year to have it done. We know that it's going to be a 2-year project, but we are actively working on it. And as we go through this process, I'll be bringing more updates to you. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Since 1972, H&H Auto Parts has provided motorists in the Vernon area with the best auto parts and customer service. Our goal is to offer the best auto parts and customer service available at affordable prices to get you back on the road in no time. To learn about the superior parts we offer, please contact us by phone 973-827-3459.
Welcome back. Another accomplishment that I want to share with you, while maybe not huge in terms of dollar cost, for well over 15 years, our Animal Control Center, the Warren Burgess Animal Control Center here in Vernon Township, has requested from administrations and previous town councils to provide a generator that would in fact keep power going to the Animal Control Center in the event of a power outage. And for whatever reasons, that issue was never addressed. In the 2013 budget, money was appropriated for that purpose. That project is completed, and I'm happy to tell you that in addition to being able to run our municipal building and our DPW garage, we now can rest assured that our furry friends are warm and taken care of in the event of a power outage of any length of time. And so I'm happy to tell you that that has happened, and it's just one more check on the list of things that we have been working toward from the day we walked in here. I would say in closing to you that over the next several weeks, there will be a lot of rhetoric. There'll be a lot of misinformation. Frankly, my political adversaries are very adept at it. I listened to it last evening from the usual suspects. I would ask all of you to think about my opening comments and realize that if Vernon Township doesn't remunerate whoever the executive office of this township is with a fair living wage, think about the quality of people that you're going to attract in future elections. And I would think that each of you would begin to realize that this job is an elected town manager job. Call it what you want. That's what it is. This job is a full-time job. I didn't know that when I ran. I had no way to be sure of it. What I said was not that I would do it as a part-time. What I said was I'm the only candidate who can do it if it's part-time or full-time. Those were my exact words. They've been misrepresented over and over and over. And I didn't say that I would do it for $500 a week full-time. I said if the job is part-time, I would do it for $500 a week. It's clear by the administrative code and by the statutes that make up the responsibility, that speak to the responsibility of this job, that it's impossible to do it effectively part-time. So the balance comes down to, do we want to attract quality people to run for the mayor's office when my term is over? Do we want to, in fact, compensate people so that they are not tempted, like our previous town manager, to steal from the township? Those are all considerations that need to be thought of. And even beyond that, do we really want to put Vernon through the same thing we went through 2 years ago? You people will make that decision, I'm sure, because I heard last night that my adversaries, should this ordinance that was approved on first reading go through, will be out in front of the A&P again. It's up to you folks what you want to do about it, but I think that it's time that you allow this job to be compensated for what the responsibility is and for what the job that has been done, and just for once and for all, put to bed all of the misinformation and rhetoric that has been spewed by political adversaries over the last 2.5 years. I thank you for your consideration on that. I offer to answer your questions and to take your phone calls or any other way that you want to communicate with me. That has been my stock and trade as your mayor. The other day, in closing, someone asked on my Facebook page, what have you done to deserve this? And I went through a litany of things that have been accomplished in my administration. And I then went back and I touched up on my computer, and I was amazed to find that in 2.5 years, this chair, this mayor, has dealt with, read and responded to over 5,000 emails and handled over 2,000 calls from residents. Some of them simple calls looking for directions, some of them people who really needed my help. And while I must admit that I haven't been able to take every one of them when they came in, I have made it my responsibility and my modus operandi to in fact return those phone calls. Now look, nobody bats 1,000. I'm sure that there are some that I missed, but I know that my batting average is well over 95%. I'll continue to do that, whatever you decide to pay me. Thanks for your attention. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next time.